What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Aaron Nix from the Wrestle Plug podcast, and I'm back to discuss WWE Smackdown. Apologies, it's a little bit late. It's been crazy busy at Wrestle Plug Towers, but I have plenty to say about this Smackdown. But before I do, it's all about refuse to conform clothing.co.uk, and if you use the code Aaron Nix or capitals when you head to refuse to conform clothing.co.uk, you'll get yourself a sweet 10% off of any of the merch that's available. I'll put it up on screen for you guys. And without further ado, let's talk about WWE Smackdown. Now, Edge is in the house. Feels like I don't see enough of it since he won the Royal Rumble. Just feels like he's been hiding like an opportunist should. He's been waiting for his time and he's been picking the right time to get involved in the product, and I like that. Edge comes out, he's got plenty to say, obviously, about WrestleMania, but he wants to focus on Daniel Bryan. And of course, Daniel Bryan comes down, and man, Edge lends himself beautifully to this product, because I'm seeing people saying, oh, you know, he's 47, he's old, why aren't we pushing younger talents? Edge has done more to put young talents over and the guys who are currently working their ass off on this roster in probably a few weeks than most guys have been doing for years. He's just a different level of superstar. And if you don't like what Edge is doing on this roster, well, frankly, you don't get wrestling. Sorry, it's as simple as that. He's putting over everybody. And he's not just doing it on the main roster too. He's doing it on NXT. He's making sure that everybody who he's in the ring with, everyone he talks about, feels like a big star. Daniel Bryan can handle himself. I love the sort of tone of disrespect. Even though they like each other and they respect each other for who they are, Daniel Bryan's been playing a kind of tweener game lately, and he's been dropping these little hints and acting a little bit heelish to get under the skin of people, and I'm loving it. This is just another shade of what Daniel Bryan can do. He's got so many different shades to him, so many different colours, so many different notches to his character, and he's really getting a chance to express himself later in his career. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And there was good wrestling on this show as well. It wasn't just about the storylines too. I really like the 8-man tag team match. I feel like the Street Profits are, dare I say, a little bit underutilized. And maybe the injury to Montez Ford came at the right time, because it gave people an opportunity to be reminded of just how great and how fresh these guys are. Sometimes it's important to have a little break from the product, and with the amount of members on the roster, I always remember Steve, when he used to come on a podcast with me, saying that they should actually have some sort of a rotation and maybe give people a little bit of an off-season, because then they're more fresh in the mind of others. And of course, that would definitely apply to someone like the Street Profits, but they're big business. They tagged up with the Mysterios. They, of course, faced the most boring tag team in history, Rude and Ziggler. Sorry, great wrestlers. Boring, terrible gimmick, don't care. God knows why they have the tag titles, and also 2 singles guys, unacceptable. You should be a proper tag team. And obviously they tagged with Otis and Chad Gable, the Alpha Academy. I do miss face Otis, but that being said, he's got all the tools to be a believable and legitimate bulldozing heel. Good match, obviously, plenty of shenanigans going around. It was a good match, to be fair. It was very athletic, very physical, and it's a good builder, and it's a good palate cleanser for what is actually starting to look like another credible tag team division again. It feels like they've gotten away from tag team wrestling recently, so this is a nice little nuance, and this is a nice little caveat, and hopefully we're building to bigger things. And it's nice to see that some guys, like Chad Gable, for instance, are getting more of an opportunity and more of a rub as well. I was worried that Otis was going to get left behind. And the same with the Cesaro-Seth Rollins gimmick. Seth Rollins is used well. He feels like a relatively main event talent, despite his hilariously awful dress sense. Sorry, just is. What is this deal, by the way, with people not wearing socks anymore? Like, I get not wearing, you know, long socks. You want, like, the ankle socks or whatever, but guys not wearing ankle socks or socks at all when wearing shoes, it's a random complaint, but for some reason it just irks me. I just don't think it looks right on many people. That being said, works for Reginald, so fair play, and I'm about to discuss that boy. But obviously Cesaro and Seth Rollins, continuation of that. Cesaro and Buddy Murphy have a match. Seth Rollins gets involved, shock, horror, and he leaves Cesaro laying. And he would have given him a curb stomp with the steel chair over his neck if it hadn't been for the officials, who have finally decided, oh, we can actually interrupt things before they get too vicious, and yet didn't interrupt later on in the show. And this is the problem with wrestling as a whole. It's not WWE, it's everyone. I'd like a bit more continuity. Particularly when it comes to outside sources, like officials, like management, because they're very wishy-washy about what they do and don't do, and I just don't really get it or understand it. But nonetheless, Cesaro and Seth Rollins is going to be a fantastic wrestling match, particularly if that's going to be a fast lane, because I feel like those two have just infinite ability when it comes to in-ring quality. Whether Cesaro can smash through the glass ceiling a little bit more, that remains to be seen, but hopefully we are going to see that, because I feel like he has the potential now, and he's getting better on the mic as well. That's the most important thing. If there was one knock I had on Cesaro, it may be that he lacked a little bit of character, and we're starting to see more of that. So hopefully he's going to keep working at that, and we're going to see him smash through and become a bigger talent. Now, speaking of glass ceilings and not smashing through them nearly as much as you would, Kevin Owens, who's amazing by the way, he has the KO show, and his guests are Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and you knew what was coming because these two are going to challenge Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the tag titles. They even mentioned the fact that the last time this kind of thing was really prominent was when Shawn Michaels and John Cena did it, and yeah, of course, you know, there's a little bit of dissension, a little bit of, you know, jaw-jacking. Here comes Natalya and Tamina. Here comes Reginald. Shayna Baszler, by the way, hating this new blossoming relationship between Nia Jax and Reggie is just hilarious to me. By the way, I really dig it. I know that it's probably not going to last that long, but I love that little segment with the suits where he's showing off, then he sits on her lap and he's like, how can I ever repay you? And she looks at him like, oh, I know. It's like, yeah, mama, you get yours. You get yours. I actually really liked it. I thought it was really entertaining. Great use of both people. Nia Jax gets a bad rap. Sometimes she deserves it, sometimes she doesn't. But she's really good in this role. And actually, she can be quite funny. She's got a decent level of charisma, and it'd be nice to see her flex herself a little bit more. You knew there was going to be dissension, shenanigans. Oh, can the two megastars get on before WrestleMania? Turns out no. Tamina and Natalya got the push and got the win. Whoopee. I don't care about those two. I'm sorry, I just don't. Sick and tired of hearing them whinging on social media all the time as well. Come on, man, you've been there 14 years and you've been a champion for a total of 3 months. Obviously, it's not our fault that you're not getting the big push. Speak to somebody involved within the company, maybe. But it is what it is, and of course, Bianca Belair is thoroughly furious with the fact that Sasha Banks was distracted by Reginald, and that cost her the L. And then Sasha Banks calls her a rookie backstage. And then we see Nia Jax and Reginald flirting with each other backstage. And Reginald suggests that maybe Nia Jax should have an opportunity in Sasha Banks' title next week, and she should go into WrestleMania as double champion. And I also like the fact they were like, Kayla, can you fuck off? Three's Company, go away, you little rat. I love Kayla, I really do, but the abuse that Nia Jax relentlessly gives female announcers is actually really fun to me. And that's what a heel should do. Think about all the great heels in the past of wrestling. They've all had a go at announcers. Remember The Rock? Even when he was face, he used to annihilate Michael Cole. And we all loved it. And I wish he would return now and annihilate him, because he is insufferable on commentary, despite the fact he's got Corey Graves, who's excellent next to him. And of course, the real showpiece was the fact that Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns had a contract signing, and like I said last week, I don't really care about contract signings, but this was fucking excellent. I can't believe it. We had 2 contract signings on 2 entirely different wrestling companies, because Impact had one earlier this week, and both of them were fucking great. Awesome. Really, really happy with this. Love how Daniel Bryan goaded him, because Roman Reigns is like, you don't deserve it, so I'm not signing this contract. But he tapped out Jey Uso. Never mind, you're a whiny bitch, we get it. And then Daniel Bryan's like, oh, I get it, because I made Jey Uso quit and you couldn't do that. And hey, maybe I should be head of the table. And Afron Sinker would love me. And I love Roman Reigns' expression. He's like, I'm going to fucking smash you, little prick. It's brilliant. Brilliantly funny. They sign the contract. The table gets tipped over because Jey Uso's had enough. Now, Jey Uso earlier in the night had bumped into Edge, and there's great little nuances, great little storytelling here that Raw isn't doing, because Raw is shit. Where Edge is like, what the hell, man? You know, you used to be so cool, and I remember seeing you and thinking, man, you know, watching you wrestle made me want to come back and wrestle again. What the hell has happened to you? Great little storytelling for when Jey Uso eventually does turn on Roman Reigns, probably after he drops the Universal Championship. They get into it a little bit. Edge comes down, gets in the way, because obviously Jey Uso demands that he be the special guest referee, which, you know, we all know what they're up to, heel shenanigans. Edge decides, yeah, sure, I'll tell you what, how about you wrestle me next week? Which, by the way, hallelujah, that's going to be so sick. Edge versus Jey Uso is like one of my dream matches. I love this fucking brand so much. They're going to have an amazing matchup, and of course the winner of that will be the special guest enforcer, so to speak, for Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. And it's all going very nicely until Daniel Bryan gives him the knee plus. Whoa, okay, fair enough. Gives Edge the knee plus. Kind of looks at him as if to say, how's that for opportunity, bitch? And SmackDown goes off the air. Mwah. Great show. Perfect. Nothing I disliked on this show. Even the Big E stuff, by the way, which I thought I'd give a mention to. Yeah, before I close the show, Big E obviously makes his return. Calls out Apollo Crews with an incredible promo. Red hot about it. And then, of course, down comes Baron Corbin to ruin everyone's good time. Then Sami Zayn steals the open challenge off of him. Decent enough match, but it's all a device for Apollo to jump Big E from behind and hit him with the steps again. And I love this Apollo Crews. I love the look. I love the getup. I just don't get why he needed a new accent. Other than that, it's fucking awesome. But like I said, SmackDown, fucking awesome. Simple, effective, great storytelling, 2 hours, nice and succinct. If you watch it back and you skip all the adverts, it's about an hour and 20, an hour and a half max. Perfect. That's what wrestling should be. Shorter, with more succinct and more professional storytelling. Wonderful stuff. Great SmackDown. One of my favourite SmackDowns, actually, I've seen for a while. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, of course. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Turn on your notifications so you know when content is coming. Right now as well, obviously, Sacrifice is tonight. Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. We will be reviewing the show tomorrow, but we have predictions out right now. You can check that video out, so don't forget to have a look at that. And from myself, Aaron Nix, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.